All right, then with that, we come to the end of the first innings. Pakistan have notched up 127 runs for 6 wickets. Now, before we get to the score sheet, the batters, the bowlers, anything, Ananya, our very own expert, got the prediction on point. She predicted 127. So I'm going to hear from you first, Ananya. You obviously fixed this somehow, or you obviously have done something behind the scenes. But leaving that aside, what was your first thought on the entire Pakistani batting innings?
I thought it was, a really good effort from them. I mean, the it was again a typical Pakistan innings that we've seen through this tour. They got off to a decent start, which was a surprise. But then there was a collapse again, and I thought Javeria Khan, contrary to all my statistics that I threw at Claire, she batted really, really well. I thought, she looked very good immediately at the top. You could see that intensity with the running between the wickets. They were looking for runs all the time, and I think that made a huge difference, even for someone like Aisha Zafar, who was able to kind of get into her innings before she let that trademark mid-wicket shot out. So I thought they batted really well. Nida Dar came out with a lot of really good positive intent. She went after the bowlers early, like we know she can. She wasn't trying to just nudge it around. She was looking for the boundary really early, which was great. And I thought Kainat Imtiaz for me was the standout. I mean, yes, Javeria Khan got a half century, but I thought Kainat Imtiaz, the way she played the field, the intelligence that she showed, the presence of mind to go over cover when the field was in, or go over the straight field when long off and long on were in the circle. I thought that was really good. It provided a lot of impetus towards the end, and it also allowed Javeria to kind of continue to bat through the innings like she had. So yeah, it was great. I probably should have put money on that 127, but no worries.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Javeria heard you spew out all her statistics and had to prove you wrong, and she did just that. We have a look at the scorecard, and Aisha Zafar and Javeria Khan up top. Aisha made 19 runs, and then Javeria obviously carries the back through the innings, made 56 runs of 50 balls, so a great strike rate and great strike rotation. She played very few dot balls within those 50 balls, and then we sort of have a bit of a collapse. There was a rain interruption, which obviously arguably benefited South Africa because they got a wicket just coming back from that. And then towards the end, we have Pakistan rebuilding with Javeria Khan still hanging around and Kainat Imtiaz coming in. And I think, Ananya, you tweeted this, that Kainat Imtiaz coming in up top or down below, she sort of came into the same situation and really put her best foot forward and proved her worth in that 11. She made 29 off 29, got out on the last ball. And we have a look at the bowling lineup. Surprisingly, Mazan Cap and Shabnam Ismail both wicketless this time around. We have Masawara Class, Tumi Sekukune, and Shangase both getting, all three of them getting 1, 2, and 3 wickets respectively. Claire, just talk about the bowling. We saw, obviously, power play was wicketless, so that was interesting to see. And then we had a rain delay and then a couple of LBWs here and there. What did you make of the bowling?
I thought, yeah, it was a really interesting game from those like ebbs and flows. It sort of did change, but there wasn't like a sudden change. So you didn't have a batsman that really sort of took the innings away. It was just real subtle changes in sort of who had momentum at different times. And Pakistan batted really well in that first power play. It's the first time they got to 30, and I think the most important was no loss. So you kind of have just sort of, you can then sort of launch your innings from that point. Look, Cup I thought bowled really, really well. I thought Cup really looked good. Yeah, she didn't get wickets, but sometimes that is what happens. Ishmael was a bit iffy today, I think. But we expect so much from her, so you also can't be too harsh. I thought she was a little bit short at times, and there's a big difference between short and back of the length. And I felt like she was trying to find the back of the length, but she was just pulling it up just too short, and it made it easier for them to sort of manipulate it around the field. Class, obviously a bit disappointing. Shame on her birthday. She obviously would have liked to give herself a better birthday present, but that didn't work. But really, really tough for Tumi Sekukune. I thought she bowled absolutely magnificently, and sort of, she's got the opportunity, and she's really grabbed it with both hands. I mean, her 4 overs went for 15 runs, I think it was, and she picked up the 2 wickets. So she must be very, very chuffed with that performance. And she got quite a bad knock on her hand as well, her right hand. So you would also think now you're a bit tentative, you're not going to run in with as much sort of momentum. And I thought she overcame that really well. And Shangassi, in my opinion, is just growing from strength to strength. And that is why it is so important to give these young spinners the opportunity to build that confidence. Some of the balls that she gave flight to, you know, I was thinking, oh my gosh, here we go. Where is it going to go? But she almost has like belief in where she's going to land the ball. And so she's almost going, I need to give it flight to land in a certain spot. And I know it sounds obvious, but the confidence to be able to not sort of bowl it flat and quick at that spot, but to give it that loop is just sort of showing where she can go as a bowler. So, you know, she ended 4 overs for 20 runs, but the 3 wickets that she picked up, and her enjoyment especially in her 3rd wicket, obviously when she was then, you know, potentially going to be on a hat trick. I think I probably enjoyed out of most things that happened on the field. So in general, I was happy with the South African batting. The one thing that I'm going to say again, and I've said this over and over, run outs. South Africa just can't get it right. And I really hope that they look to improve that part of their fielding, because, you know, as you know, when you play the top countries, those little opportunities have to be taken. And I'm not saying you're going to get 2 run-outs or 3 run-outs in a game, but there were some obvious opportunities that I just feel like they could have nipped Pakistan's progress in their innings a little bit. They weren't getting the catches, or necessarily the ball wasn't doing that much, but Pakistan offered run-out opportunities, and South Africa just couldn't sort of take them up on those opportunities.
And I found it really interesting that we were talking about this in the pre-show. You mentioned Nadine de Klerk, and sometimes she doesn't have the confidence to just back her variation or back her skill. But the fact that you said that Shangassi had the confidence to just flight it and things like that, I think we really see why she got the nod and why she's performing with 3 wickets to her name. So we are talking about the Pakistan batting order. Obviously, Javeria came back and we saw a good start, then we saw like a shaky thing, and then the rain came in, then Nidadar gets out right after the interruption. As Claire mentioned, there was a bit of a roller coaster. There was ups, downs, there was no real flow to it. What do you think? Do you think you agree with the order of Aisha Naseem coming up where she did and Kainat going down where she did? Because it did play out in that way at the end.
Rather, first of all, I would like to say Ananya Baba, spot on prediction, because the kind of prediction she did. But honestly, this is what I was talking about in the first T20, in the second T20. Javeria was the biggest thing that we were missing. The way she played today, the kind of anchor inning she played, like playing all the batters all around her, and even scoring runs was a sight to watch. And this is what Pakistan was missing. Imagine she has just played this only this match in T20s, and from the word go, she started what she's known for. First thing first, and secondly, talking about the order, I believe it was almost like a deja vu again, because the way they started off well, then the rain came in, and all the momentum that Pakistan started getting in Nida and Javeria, the way they were getting in that momentum, the momentum broke because of the rain. And then 5 down, like the 6-wicket partnership again, beat Aisha Naseem or Alia, beat Javeria or Kainat. It's always the 6-wicket partnership. I don't know what with the 6-wicket partnership landmark or milestone, the landmark they have. But 127, it's a pretty tricky target, and I'm not sure how would the bowling do today.
And that's what the commentators are saying as well. I mean, it is a tricky target, but then there's an sort of inexperienced South African batting lineup. And your thoughts on just looking ahead to the next innings, what do you see? How do you see them approach it? Because the top order is like the opening pair is missing out, the original opening pair. So how do you see? And obviously Pakistan's bowling is very much intact from the previous matches. So how is that battle going to shape up?
Well, I think it will be interesting. I mean, 127 is going to be a very tricky target. It's a little over a runner ball, and in conditions that we're seeing it's raining, or it's drizzling heavily. So I think it's going to be interesting to see how the 2 openers, respond to the pressure, because I hope they see it as an opportunity to kind of, I suppose, create more selection issues for the South African team management, because it's a huge of a chance for someone like Annika Bosch, who I think has been knocking on the doors for a really long time. She's put in consistent performances, even as recent as the WSL. She did very well there. So, for her to even just push her case a little bit and, to topple the likes of Lizelle Lee, Laura Wilford, and now Tasman Brits, who's taken her chance, it's going to take a lot, but hopefully they see it as an opportunity to get put in some useful performances. And yes, I'm sure they're going to feel the pressure, but I think they have the safety net of the likes of Mignon Dupree, Sunelis, Marizan Kaap, so they can play with a bit of freedom because there is that experience lower down. But yeah, I hope Pakistan kind of go all guns blazing with the new ball. They have to make early inroads if they want to put pressure on this attack. Otherwise, I think South Africa will run away with it if these two are able to put together a partnership and give the likes of Lee, Kaap, and Dupree a bit of a launch pad.
Yeah, and I personally love the term drizzling heavily because it perfectly summarizes a state where cricket is continuing to be played in the rain because it's not enough to call the covers on. I should have asked you this earlier, Claire, but just a quick assessment on the pitch because obviously we've got rain also. So how is that going to play out in the second innings?
Well, I think the pitch is looking reasonable. It looked a lot better than the second T20. The ball just seems to be coming onto the bat a little bit better than we saw on Sunday. But obviously, the biggest challenge here will be the spinners. Okay, so the grip on the ball and how the Pakistan bowlers sort of deal with that situation. We'll see that the ball will skid off the surface, and South Africa will have to run hard between the wickets. So they're going to hit it to the boundary, and it's going to sort of pull up short. So you can't be expecting the ball is going to go for a 4. I would expect a lot of 2s to be run. And if South Africa are on their toes, they'll be able to pick up those 2s. There are a lot of athletic runners between the wickets when you look at the South African batting lineup. So they'll need to try and take advantage of that. And I would even sort of want to see them changing up what they're doing with their footwork, making the spinners a little bit nervous and almost try and over-grip the ball in their hands because it's wet. It's going to get a bit mushy. And all you need is a South African batter to use their feet, and then the nerves are going to come out, and they're going to try and grip that ball too tightly, and then we'll see a couple of short balls coming through. So it's going to be up to the South African batters to try and manipulate the spinners and get into their heads a little bit.
And I'm just hoping that with the wet outfield and the wet ball, that we don't see too many lapses in the field. We did see that with South Africa to some extent, but like runouts, though. I mean, we've just talked about that way too much. I think the commentator went from, oh, they'll hit it eventually to they might just never hit it because that was just the kind of innings for South Africa. But Tunnicliffe and Bosch are out in the middle. They're all the innings is ready to go. Sawera, right before we wrap up this segment, just a final sort of message of good luck to the Pakistan bowlers and what you really want to see from them. And hopefully we have a very happy conversation for you in the post-match coverage.
I hope the same, Radha. And I think our girls will do good because, you know what, there's this, I always talk about mental strength and how they'll take it mentally. Javeria coming back brings a lot of confidence in the way they've batted. They'd be pretty satisfied. No drop patches, please. No fielding lapses. And we can go through it. We can just defend this target, I believe.
That's perfect. So the innings has started. We're getting news that Tunnicliffe has actually been run out. So that's a good sign that Pakistan are all raring to go in the field. Just 9 wickets to go. I reckon Pakistan can do it. For everyone tuning in, thank you for watching this quick mid-inning segment. We'll catch you after the match. It's obviously a wrap of the T20 and of the entire series. So we'll catch you then and enjoy the second innings.